There is an important letter for you. Most likely calling work for a bedding boy somewhere. They don't want little ones like you in the army. They gave him the letter. He was called up for the Royal Marines. Yes. Yes. At that time, and it might still be the same, the Royal Marines had to be 6 feet tall. So Bill thought it was a mistake at first. But of course, he reported for duty at the placing deal Kent had requested. To find himself with other men of smaller stature, all drivers at the recruiting. About 200 men had been called up, all drivers as they would be needed, to invade Japan in due course when fully trained, to drive ducks which would land in Japan. The Marines would line the floor of those things, and the short drivers would not have their heads above the parapet, and that would be that. By the time they had been trained to their mission, of course, and had almost finished the recruiting stages, the atom bomb had been dropped, and the war is finished. They were not needed anymore. Bill was just 18 years old. He told me rather bitterly that the first thing he did when he passed out and had his first full set of dark blue, red stripes, proud uniform, he had his photo taken professionally and sent one to his aunt. Wrote on it, "Who says Bevan boy? Meet Royal Marine Pocklington." And what should the Marines now do with those smaller men among the giants? They trained them and trained them and trained them until they were smarter than smart. And where Bill was coming from, that was some climb, but he loved it. He loved it all. Only one thing always stayed in his memory from the time. I knew it him, but with an undertone of anger, I always thought. It was a deal. There was a King's Parade due. Whether it was the King's birthday or whether the King had some special offers coming, no idea. They had to spruce up the whole barracks, their kit, themselves, their smartness on parade, the lot. And they did, until it came to the day before the parade. All lined up, one line of smart. Out comes one officer to march the line, the usual inspection of men. He marches along as usual, his eyes to the left, face to face with all of these men. And then suddenly, a gap in the line of caps. He has to look down. And all hell is let loose. "Sergeant," called this officer. Would not call him a gentleman. "Sergeant, what are all these men doing in my parade?" "They're Marines, sir," is the right answer. And the officer bellows, "I do not want these men on parade tomorrow. Keep them out of my sight." But the fellow next to Bill saying, "We, sir, were called up to die for our king and country, sir." The officer says, "If I see any of you on tomorrow, you will know about it," and marches off. Now the fellow Marine was never charged with anything for daring to speak to an officer on parade. That speaks for itself, I think. Maybe it was just an incident, but Marine Pocklington never forgot.